Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And I'm coming to you from a sneaky little corner in the airport right now. I'm off to Sydney again, and I was just having a conversation in the car getting driven here, and we were talking about what's kind of got a big buzz going on here, at least here in Australia, which is the Married at First Sight series. Okay, so we've just had, I think it was season 6 or something. It's the first time I've ever watched anything of this series. It's kind of been out there and crazy, and I don't even watch television, so and I hate to admit it, but I got totally addicted to watching the drama, the behaviour, just the way that these people were operating. And I got completely hooked. I'm first to admit it. I probably started watching, a good few weeks in, or a good month or so in, so I missed the whole beginning. But anyway, what I want to talk to you guys, and I'm hoping that those Aussies out there, maybe you've gotten hooked like me, and I think most of Australia kind of did, and I don't think many of us like to admit it, because it was quite disgusting, a lot of the behaviour. Definitely crazy, and kind of set up in a way. There's a lot of talk around them being actors and all sorts of stuff, so we're not going into that. But what I do want to touch on is one of the couples. So even if you've never even watched Married at First Sight Australia, you don't even know what I'm talking about, I'm going to depict a story of a couple, and they were one of the couples that were on this particular season that's just finished last week. But ultimately, there was a couple, and they were named Mike and Heidi, for all of you Aussies out there who you know what I'm talking about. But Mike and Heidi had such great potential for an intimate relationship, an extraordinary intimate relationship. And what happened was, they got to the end of the whole series. They ended up, falling in love with one another. And the woman Heidi, she ended up moving interstate but different city, to come and live with Mike, and to, take their relationship to the next level. And so what happened was, she moved her whole life to come and live with him, and and then they lasted not very long, and now they've broken up, and both of them are very heartbroken. Both of them wish it could have been different. But the one thing they kept on saying, both of them, was, we just see the world so differently. It's like, I see it this way, he sees it that way. We're so opposite in our viewpoints and our perspectives on life and how we look at everything. And they made this thing that we can all kind of relate to get totally in the way. But I want to tell you, if they had some proper experts on that show who knew this kind of work that could transform that kind of dynamic in and get out of the way of what could be extraordinary, this is it. So you guys have been following me for a long time, absolutely have heard me talk about personality psychology, probably to the point where you're sick of hearing about it, right? And definitely you guys in the masterclasses, I did a masterclass on this a couple of months ago where I dove deep into the cognitive functions, all things personality psychology. But let me show you what happened with Mike and Heidi. So these were a man and a woman who had amazing chemistry together. And they had that amazing connection and amazing chemistry, and they really got along. But then different things would happen where they just saw it, one saw it white, the other saw it black. And I watch these sort of shows, or I watch this show so that I could analyze it, so I could watch people, I could study them. That's what I do. I'm all about human behavior, human potential, how people could be doing things better, what's going on in their world, how they're seeing the world. And these particular couple, one of them they have this driver, this way of seeing the world, this driver cognitive function, which is nicknamed effectiveness. So that's him. He's an extroverted thinker. He's very judgmental in a lot of ways. Like, you could see him every time there was a trouble or a drama in the group, he was jumping in, and he had his opinion, and he had all of his advice. And this is what effectiveness can look like in our behavior. So he sees the world, he has an instant judgment on the world, and he sees it his way, right? And she uses the exact opposite cognitive function, which is introverted feeling, or nicknamed authenticity. which is all about letting the individual have complete freedom of expression and holding space for the individual, no matter what drama that might create, right? And so what happens is, whatever that opposite to our favorite cognitive function is, it ends up being our, what really triggers depression, procrastination, stress, overwhelm in us when we're unconscious to it. So what was happening was, Mike, who had this effectiveness driver, that's Heidi's 3-year-old position, which means it's her stress mode, right? And the opposite was true for Mike. So, for Heidi, she drives with authenticity. That's what puts her into flow and gives her energy and makes her feel most like her. But it's his, most stress-driven cognitive function as well. So when they were getting into each other's worlds, they were getting stressed and overwhelmed, and they didn't have the language or the knowledge of themselves or the other person to get to a place where you can actually understand what the dynamic is at play. And most of us, this is what kills what could be extraordinary. This is what saps the potential out of, such great relationships that have, they really could go the mile if they had a level of self-awareness and awareness of the other person, to the point where they weren't trying to change the other person. They weren't like weirded out by, they don't even know what's at play, but it's like 1 minute they're happy and the next minute they're just down and they don't know why. And they're sad and they're confused and they're torn apart by the end of this experiment, and totally heartbroken and totally wanting it to be different, but just not seeing a way out. And I really do feel like, I know, I don't want to sound too ahead of myself, but I'd love to get to meet them. I would love to take them through personality psychology. I would love to help them to identify who they really are, how they're wired, and then bring them together and show them the dynamic at play, and show them how what might be one of their weaknesses is the other person's strength, and how much that expands the individual being in that dynamic, and how they can best support and appreciate their differences rather than trying to change each other and feeling like hard done by and brokenhearted and like you're lost and confused and you just don't know that there's a way out. And that's the beauty of having this self-awareness, particularly around one of the greatest models I've come across around personality psychology. It's how I work with all of my clients, and I love working with couples in this dynamic, because so many of us are trying to change the other person. The number one question I get asked when I am speaking to a member of a couple who wants to take their relationship to a new level is, how can I get them to change? Well, you know what? That's your starting problem, because you're not honoring the individual. You're trying to change them because you're so unaware of yourself and them and the differences that you both bring, and actually getting to a place of appreciating that. Because if there's two of you, one of you isn't necessary. You never want to make another person just like you. That will kill the attraction. What you really need to do is you need to understand yourself, you need to understand the other person, and you need to get to a place of true appreciation and encouragement of your differences rather than trying to change each other. So I'm on a bit of a rant, and because I'm in a bit of a rush because I've got to go run and jump on the plane. I hope I'm not going to miss it. I'm getting there. I'm in a little hidden corner, but I definitely want to check in with you guys. And I also want to let you know, I just set up my website. It took me 2 days, but it's ready to go. And so I've got some freebies on there. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Jump on there. The link is up above. And if you want to join the masterclasses, you can do so on my website there, and you can book in a free 15-minute power session with me. You can join the amazing Limitless Potential community for free. There's heaps of stuff going on there. So definitely jump on the link above, check it out, check out my work that I've been addicted to over the last couple of days. And I can't wait to come to you from Sydney over these next few days. But let me check in. If you've got any questions or comments or words of wisdom, or you just want to spread some love, I'd love to hear from you. I've got Rob in the house, and Gael and Geet, and I'm loving all the love hearts coming my way. Thank you, my friend. And Asmatullah, nice to see you again, my dear. Much love to you. And Ram's here as well. And Alexandria is in the house with Charles. I love it. And Alfredo is here as well. Good to have you. And Judy and Hala and Alex and Robbie and Stanley and Ray. And Stanley, I'm loving that you're finding some awesomeness here. And Gregory's here as well. And Alexandria, those personality types are the same as Charles and me. You're right. It can work awesome, but definitely got to understand and respect the other's type. Oh my God, you just made that. I was just like, I didn't even make that connection, and you're exactly right. And you know why I didn't make that connection, I think, Alexandria, is because you and Charles are such a couple who I think are just such beautiful role models to all of us out there, because you grow together. I'm so honored to have you guys in my masterclasses, in my group coaching, to get to work with you, to dive in deep with your world. And yeah, you two are exactly that. You know what? You are the exact types that Heidi and Mike are. I hadn't even made that connection. You're just way down the timeline in terms of your personal development, self-awareness, and appreciation of the other person. So you guys are actually the perfect example for what would be possible with this Mike and Heidi, you know? So thank you for pointing that out. Beautiful. I love it. And Grant's here as well. Good to see you, my friend. So really, that is my message. I definitely better take off so I don't miss my flight. Wouldn't be great. But I really hope that me talking into this has been of value to you guys, even if you're on the other side of the world and you don't know who the hell Mike and Heidi from Married at First Sight this season in Australia who are. But I'm hoping that me talking into and just using them as an example of how when we don't understand, when we're not aware of our differences, we don't appreciate them. They might attract us to somebody, but then time goes on and then they start to be the most annoying thing about them because we don't understand what's going on, so we don't appreciate it. We try to change it, and it's what's killing the potential in our relationships. All right. And Ramesh, hello to you. Happy to see you live this morning. Great to have you. And Hala, much love and gratitude to you as well, my friend. So beautiful of you to send that my way. So guys, that is it from me today. I'm sending you, as always, all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, and that you're doing something super empowering, and you're definitely not going to miss your flight like I may just. But I'm sending you all of my love, and definitely check out my new website, www.vanessajanepatrick.com. Can't wait to hear from you guys and have you take me up on all those freebies. Much love to you all.